welcome back to the rhetorical situation. In this video, I want to look at some of the elements that constitute the rhetorical situation. I ended the last video with this slide in particular. Bitzer points out there are three things that come together to make a rhetorical situation. There's an exigence, and caution, this is a technical term. It's this is jargon, but you need to know. You need to sit up and take notice. And one test, I would say, if you want to know whether you're dealing with jargon, is throw it out at the dinner table. You just say, well, I had an exigence today, and see what people think. And they look at you blankly, and they say, what is this? Is it contagious? If they don't know what it is, when you are answering a question on a test, define exigence, or you can't just say this is the exigence. You need to define terms like this. So I'll come to that, but exigence, it's the central concept of this rhetorical situation. We also have audience, and I'll talk about the audience and what makes an audience a rhetorical audience, and then he also introduces constraints. I might break these up into separate videos. But awareness of these three elements will let you shape your discourse, plan how you frame documents, how you present material and make presentations. So what is it? First off, exigence. Bitzer defines it as an imperfection marked by urgency. You've experienced something, it's not right, and there's a need to change it. There's some need in you to change that, whatever it is. It could be an obstacle, something that's blocking your way. You need to get rid of it. It's something waiting to be done. Waiting to be done. A thing which is other than it should be. And I'll go back to a point that I've made repeatedly in other videos. This is very philosophic. He's trying to get to the essence of what it is here. He's being very general. I particularly like this last one. An exigence is a thing which is other than it should be. And you notice this can be both positive and negative. It might be something that we need to change, that it's not right, and you say, like poverty or whatever, and you say, well, let's do something to fix that. It can also be very general, or you've all got a baseline of intelligence. You're pretty smart. You're at university, and in some cases upper year university. But what if I could make you just a little bit smarter? That's an exigence. Something which is other than it should be. So this will open up possibilities when it comes to giving speeches and thinking about that. So think about this. There are all kinds of, you will face all the time different things which you could frame as an exigence. Something which should be other than it is. But what makes an exigence a rhetorical exigence? Bitzer says an exigence is rhetorical when it is capable of change, or as he says, capable of positive modification. It means it can be altered, it can be fixed, changed. You can do something with it. And this is a very important conjunction. There are two factors which need to be applied when that positive modification requires discourse or can be assisted by discourse. So this last point, positive modification requires discourse or can be assisted by discourse. He's trying to get at the point, if you see a problem, there's something in this world that's not right, but if you can fix it, then it's not rhetorical. If you're hungry, well, you open the fridge door and get some food. You feed yourself. Okay, done. If for some reason, say you you broke both of your arms and you weren't able to open the fridge door, you probably have a rhetorical exigence. You're going to have to ask someone to open the fridge door and get some food for you. So what might be one day just an exigence can suddenly become a rhetorical exigence. It all hinges on the need for discourse. Someone else has to solve the problem. I said this in the 2 previous videos as well. So the first point also is that it must be capable of change. If you're facing a problem which cannot be solved at all, it's an exigence, but it's not a rhetorical exigence. So yeah, you say you find yourself living in Pompeii, Italy in 79 AD, in the fall of 79 AD, and the quiet little mountain just to the east of you suddenly explodes and you have blobs of lava falling on your house. You've got an exigence. Can you fix it? Can anyone fix? No. A call for help, I've got lava. It's a call, but it's not a rhetorical exigence. It cannot be changed at all. So think about this. Try to maybe think of some examples that differentiate a rhetorical exigence from just a regular, any kind of exigence. And when you're doing this, and before I leave the exigence here, I want to leave one more detail that I would say when people are answering their first assignment on Bitzer, maybe up to half the class will get this point wrong. When you're looking at a situation, think very, very carefully about what is that problem that is right in front of the speaker. If we go back to the previous slide, it's an imperfection marked by urgency, something which should be other than what it is. It's right there. It's in your face. It's right now. It is in the now. It has nothing. An exigence can never be a past tense thing. You can't use a past tense verb. It's not something that happened previously. We would call those antecedent conditions. Well, as a philosopher, I would call them an antecedent condition. The antecedent conditions bring about the exigence. And for this, I have an example from my childhood. I was given a chemistry set, very badly designed chemistry set. And why would you give 9-year-olds glass alcohol lamps? At any rate, I had a really cool little laboratory in the basement, and I was playing with my chemistry set with a friend. It was a long room, and I was at the end of the room. I had a table, and then the room extended in front of me, and my friend Derek was at the other end of the room. And I had an alcohol burner going. It was lit, and I was doing something, and I knocked it off the table, and it hit the floor and burst into a pool of flame in front of me. In fact, in front of the only way out of the room. I had an exigence. I called to Derek for help. Put the flame out. My exigence is the flame. The exigence is not that I broke an alcohol lamp. That's a past tense. It happened, done. The flame that is now in front of me is the exigence. So always stop and think. It's not the past threads of the world that brought it about. It's what you're looking at right in front of you. That is what needs to change. That is the exigence. And the next part, I will look at audience, perhaps audience and constraints.